next Tuesday, you can bring it with you.
All right, everyone, we're live streaming. So I'm going to start doing my pinning.
Don't say anything that you don't want on the internet.
Facebook land, LinkedIn land, they're listening.
No Carlo this week? Did we fire him? Is he gone?
He's on assignment.
Is that the camera right there?
So Tracy's question, Michelle, was what is one thing our audience could do to find their code?
Okay.
I'm going to there's a link that you guys will post for them in the chat or somewhere, and they can crack their code and get a complimentary report all about them. And I suggest cracking the codes of your family and friends too, because it's eye-opening. And this methodology and system literally saved my relationship with my oldest son. And if it weren't for this, I don't know where we'd be right now, but we have the best relationship
notifications
ever. And I can't believe how good it is because we now understand each other.
I think that would be a great idea. It's kind of a Ron Burgundy thing, like many notifications, kind of a big deal. I don't know if you know that.
He has no idea we can hear him.
So, No clue.
You work with many different
John, be quiet.
professionals. Within that, do you see any
Receive.
commonalities?
I like it actually.
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of different professionals that we work with, different types of businesses, different types of individuals, families. But the main causes that I see in working with clients is there's just a lack of education. The knowledge isn't really there. So a lot of people, when they come to me, they have different insurances in place or they have different investments, and I'll ask them, why do you have this in place? And most of the time they don't know why. So it's really educating them on like why you have this, why you shouldn't have this, maybe you should consider this, talk to a CPA, talk to a PNC agent or anyone in their professional realm where we can help make their situation better, and just refer out and educate them on what's out there. And there's so much noise in the financial world, just calming the noise and bringing everything back. Are we gonna let those people in? Why you need this, why you should have that, and why you shouldn't. So.
Welcome everybody to the show. How's everybody doing today? Woo! There we go. We have a live studio audience. Yeah.
That's
Tracy,
awesome.
how are you?
Good. Doing well.
Good. So welcome to the Connect Show. We're coming to you live from Studio A5 here at the Expansive Workspace. Thank you for spending this morning with us. We recognize you as a maverick and a trailblazer. And as Bob Evans once said, if it was easy, everyone would do it. If you're wondering which Bob Evans, not the sausage guy, the Paramount guy.
I second that, John. It is great to spend time with all of you this morning. The Connect Show is here to help you rise above the noise and share your message with the world. If you'd like us to cover a specific topic, please email us at theideas@theconnectshow.com.
Yeah, the Connect Show is brought to you by Connect Media Live. And if you're wondering what Connect Media Live is, it is our parent company that provides all the social media, web development, video production, and primarily show production is what we do. And so we help people create shows in the studio and or
outside of the studio.
Yeah, we do on location shoots, and gives you an opportunity to get in front of the camera and share you and let your audience experience you in a whole new way.
And it's also a great source of content when there's so many people out there doing and creating content. This helps you stand out above the crowd.
It does. It does.
I'm getting there. We'd like to thank Expansive, our sponsor, for where we broadcast every day. That's where John is right now. Expansive has locations throughout the country and is a wonderful place to work and a great community to be a part of. Mitch.
It is.
Mitch's turn.
We're off to Mitch. Wait, I'm not ready. So Carlo is on
Okay.
location filming a movie. So
Okay.
Mitch is going to be telling us all about what's happening, and take it away, Mitch.
All right. I feel like I'm not sure if I was quite ready for that or not, but I appreciate the intro. And Carlo's gone, and it throws everybody off a little bit. We should get Carlo on. You mentioned Bob Evans, and I'm glad you clarified, John, which Bob Evans you were talking about, because I immediately got hungry. I don't know about the rest of you, but I was like, pancakes, sausages, let's get after it. And you mentioned about, let's email in new topics. And even right before the show, as the show was starting, I got a bunch of alerts on my phone that John and Tracy were live. I got it on LinkedIn. I got it on Facebook, and I want all these alerts. But I think a great topic for the show down the road might be how to manage, time management and managing your alerts and what you let distract you versus what is actually helping you in your daily life, in your business, whether you're a solopreneur or you're a part of a team. I think that might be a good topic for the future. So just throwing that one out there, helping the team. We've got two great guests today. We're going to be talking about clearing up your physical IT space and cleaning up your online presence. I remember years ago, I was working for a radio station, and one of our interns was applying for a full-time job. And the picture he had as his Facebook profile, as a 19-year-old, he was holding a cup of beer, and it was pouring down like the entire front of him at some frat party or something like that, which is fun for your friends, but not great for your online presence. So we immediately told him to delete it. And if you're applying for full-time jobs, you probably don't want this one to go viral. So today we've got Matt Furlot and Rajiv Jadhav. And Matt is the owner of Electrocycle. So Matt Furlot, owner of Electrocycle, he's helping companies dispose of their IT assets safely, securely, and it says on LinkedIn for free. We're going to have to find out about that because for free sounds great. But the fact that he's working to keep your electronics out of landfills, keeping our environment clean and environment safe, I think is a great thing. So excited to hear from Matt. And then Rajiv is going to join us. He works in online reputation management with BrightNow. And they want to delete your misinformation from Google. They want to keep you away from scandal, and they want to keep you away from bad reviews. So I know I saw in his LinkedIn profile a couple articles up there about DuckDuckGo, which if you don't know, it says that they do that. I'm guessing Rajiv does it a little bit better, unless he works for DuckDuckGo, and then of course they do it both exactly greatly. But he has solutions for various social issues as well through BrightNow. And so I'm excited to hear what Matt and Rajiv are both going to bring us about keeping our environment clean, keeping our physical IT clean, and keeping our online presences clean, and making sure we are presenting ourselves in the best possible manner publicly at all times. John, Tracy, that's what I've got today. Can't wait. Here we go.
Thanks so much, Mitch. That was a great intro. We really appreciate your enthusiasm and excitement. You bring it. It's been brought in and it's happening. So we appreciate that. So if in the chat, in the comments, if you're on LinkedIn, wherever you are, do you use Google reviews to grow your business? Please comment below, put it in the chat. And, is Google part of your social media plan or no? I know a lot of people say I'm gonna LinkedIn today, I'm gonna Facebook today, but how many of you say I'm gonna Google today?
I do say I'm going to Google that a lot. Let's Google that.
Okay. We could probably Google the answer. All right.
Yeah, and Google everything. So this show, the Connect Show with John and Tracy, is a volunteer-based show. So everybody here that's on this show today, everybody that helps out with the show, we're all volunteers. Our guests are volunteers. Kim, John, and I, we all volunteer our time every week to put the show together, but we are always looking for more volunteers. So if you're interested in helping out, we've got a nice little core group of volunteers started, probably about 6 to 8 of us, in addition to John, me and Kim. And we meet twice a month, and we have monthly emails that go out. So if you're interested in helping out with the Connect Show, please message us at info@theconnectshow.com. And we have a picnic coming up. There it is. There's the picnic. So we have a company picnic coming up at Expansive in Wauwatosa on Wednesday, June 22nd. So if you don't have coworkers that you work with every day, this is your place to have a company picnic, because we are all self-employed. So these are our coworkers, everybody that's going to come to this picnic.
It'll be fun. Great place to make bad decisions, and we're going to hear more about that later.
And John's going to cook food, so that's just exciting for it in itself.
I'm going to smoke some butt. So we're talking about Google reviews today. And Tracy, where do you use Google reviews in your business, and how do you incorporate that into your day-to-day social media plan?
Well, Google reviews are pretty important for any reviews are pretty important, but specifically on Google, because typically people are gonna, oh, let me Google that. And that's where they're first gonna find your business, is on Google. So I think the Google reviews are pretty important. They're gonna make you come up higher in search right away. They're gonna have you show higher against your competitors. So I think they're pretty important. If you have bad ones, that's not gonna be such a good thing. So you wanna make sure that you only have good ones. But I do a lot of review management for a lot of my clients. So if anytime they get a new Google review, I go quickly to respond to it. And if it's a bad review, I quickly go try to fix that. So I think that I spend a lot of time in Google and managing reviews every day, actually.
Do you actively seek? I know people ask for reviews sometime. That's a thing now. Do you
No.
actively ask for them?
But you've given me a great reason to tell you about a new event that Small Business Milwaukee is having, though, because you asked that question.
I was just setting you up for the shameless plug. There you go.
No, we're having. Did you? No, I think this was accident, actually.
It was.
No, but on every second and fourth Thursday, we're having a Zoom event having a small business event on Zoom, where you literally bring your ask. Because I think small business owners forget to ask for the things that they need on their digital marketing. They forget to go ask, hey, can you go check out my latest Facebook post? Or, hey, can you leave me a review? Or can you check out my website and tell me if it's working for you? Is there something that I should change or fix, or is there something I could do better? And this event is specifically for that. So everybody in the event actually goes and does the ask. So you don't leave without the stuff being done during the event. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I have a link for that. I'll put that in the chat.
Awesome. Be bold, be brave, be courageous, and put yourself out there, because coffee is for closers. And I think that's a great thing that you're doing. There we go.
How about you? What are you doing in Google?
I do not Google. So, okay. Here's the deal. I did reach out to somebody and said, hey, can I pay you money to improve my Google SEO and reviews and Google my business? And he said, yes, just send me all this stuff. And that's as far as we got. So now I need to follow through and actually send him that stuff and make it happen. And I didn't do that, but I thought about it. So I guess, it's the thought that counts, right? And speaking of reviews, to avoid criticism and to do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing. I think there's more to that quote, but it's pretty much, if you're not out there getting reviews and you're not getting some positive and negative feedback, you may not be doing enough. It's kind of you have to try, you have to put yourself out there, fail in order to succeed. And so I think Google reviews and just feedback in general is always positive. And that's why your Small Biz Milwaukee, with asking people what they need, and asking them for the ask is such a great thing for small businesses.
Yeah,
Gotta
Kim and
do
I
it.
have been thinking about that for a while. We did an event called Raving Reviews for a while. That was really good, but it just wasn't quite doing the thing that we really wanted to have happen. So we took a break from that. And then one day we're like, let's just do this instead. So I think
Mhm.
this is going to be a much better event.
I love
Looking
it.
forward to it.
I love it.
We should ask
So-
our audience what people are doing for their Google reviews.
Why don't you do that? You have the helm.
I'm going to ask Kim first.
She goes right to me. I love
Because
it.
I know that you're managing some reviews on Google for people.
I do. And so I repurpose those reviews in a lot of ways too. So I like to ask for the review on Google because that's the place that's probably going to be the most searched. So I'll ask for the review on Google. If I ask, I'm not great at asking, but the ones that I do have are great. And I have no problems. I've taught myself to say, will you be willing to give me a 5-star review on Google? Most people like really they're like, they feel honored when you ask them that, right? And then I take that content, I copy and paste the information onto a graphic. I share it on my website. I share it on social media, and I do the same thing for my clients. So the reviews are getting out there and they're being seen. And then I will also link, if you have a great review to give us, with the little Google review link, really easy to find on Google. And you can share that with your customers. And if I kind of look at it like, if you're afraid to ask for a good Google review, did you really give the best service? And if you feel like you really gave great service, why not ask? Like, they're going to be most likely more than happy to give you that review. So, and my goal is to give great service all the time. So that's how
That's
I
a good
use
point.
Google.
That's a good
Yeah.
point you got
And
there.
I don't know. I don't mess around with the Yelps and all that, because I feel like Google doesn't hound me. Yelp hounds me. I like Google. So
Google's cool.
Google's free, by the way.
Mhm.
I love that F word. It's free.
Mhm.
That's all I got for you.
All right, awesome. Good info. How about you, Van?
We do ask for Google reviews from time to time. We need to be more regular about it. But one of the things that made it easier for clients to respond to that request is to give them a link, make it easy for them to get there and be able to write the review. And we had one bad, pretty nasty review when I first started. Multiple pages, details. It's like, okay, that's an outlier. But in order to get the average, up, I had to ask folks to contribute. And as was said, people do, when they're asked to say something good about you, assuming you have given good service, they're typically, pleased, if not honored, to help you out. So, but make it easy for them to provide their thoughts.
Good to know, Van. Thanks. How about Frank? Frank, I haven't seen you in forever.
Yeah, I've been just overwhelmed, too busy to have the time, which is a good thing. But no, I don't have, for my travel agency, we do more of a survey we send out that's more specific. And then we take some of the quotes off of that and put them on our website. For the website business, I don't have anything I'm doing with that. I do have some clients that I do review or display their reviews. They're seeking them on their own or getting them through the Google Business link.
Nice. Thanks, Frank.
So are we doing the networking report next or the marketing moment? I have both of them written down on my sheet. We didn't plan this out on Friday. That's you.
I
Ken.
couldn't unmute. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. I couldn't unmute. I was working on something in the chat. We are going to do the networking report, though. Tracy stole half of my report. She likes to do that to me, just because she loves me and she reads my mind, I think. So let's go there. Sorry, Van, I'm going to remove you. And I'll remove Tracy.
Bye, Kim.
All right, guys. Oh, I removed the wrong one. You know what? Here we go. All right. So today's networking report is going to be a little bit of a repeat, but it's just fine. We're going to work our way through it. And I was actually super excited to talk about Tracy's new event that she was talking about. We all have big asks in business, and Tracy has formed a few different mastermind type events, which I just love because you're getting core groups of people together with similar goals in mind. And I feel like this is going to be like the ultimate mastermind. We come with one ask, maybe have 3 asks ready. Like, I would really like a Google review. Make sure your link is ready. Let's go. We're all going to take the time and work on that ask during the call. You don't have to work on every single person's ask. Like if you have had interaction with them and you're like, I don't want to go leave them a bad review, but it's better I just don't leave them a review. That's okay too. Maybe they're going to say, go like this Facebook post, or go like my Facebook page, or connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm trying to build my connections. This is going to be an absolutely fabulous group, and I can't wait to watch. I really think that this one's going to explode. Small Business Milwaukee has another really great mastermind event on Mondays and Thursdays called the Think Tank. And we take a topic and we help each other and we mastermind our way through it. So all of our Zoom events have just really turned into masterminds. Super, super cool. The other thing is the company picnic. Hey, Van, you can drive down from Madison. It's just a lunch on Wednesday. Why not? Rajiv can come from New York. It's fine. It's just a plane ride. If you don't have a company to have a picnic at, come have the company picnic with us. That's next week, Wednesday, isn't it? I think that's next week.
Yes,
Well,
I
anyways,
think
it's
so.
the 22nd at 11 a.m. Like John said, he's smoking some butts. Bring a side dish to pass. You have like that favorite. In Wisconsin, we do potlucks like crazy, right? So bring something that everyone else might love, and just network, have fun, laugh. Maybe we'll have some games. I don't know. It's going to be a great time. And then every Friday, 10 a.m. Central, Rajiv is.
Now we have to go over there too.
Now we got to go there. All right. So, and then on Fridays, we have another mastermind event. And this month, we're talking all about automation. And so I was unavailable last Friday, so I can't really talk a lot about last Friday. But the Friday prior, we took a problem for a few people and we actually like worked the way through the problem, helped them through that problem in an IT or an automation solution, and people are up and running. So we're talking all things automation Fridays at 10 a.m. Central, and I will link all of those in the chat. But I have an ask for you guys. If you guys have a great networking event, we do have a calendar. You can add your event to your calendar, but let's give the people in Zoom extra credit today and put a link to your favorite event besides a Connect show, because duh. Put that in the chat, and let's support each other's networking events. And that's all I got.
Thanks, Kim.
Yeah.
Good report. Good report. I'm excited about the company picnic event. That's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be so much fun.
I think that there's a few people. If you could RSVP if you're going to come, that would be super cool, because then we can make sure that we have enough food for everybody and life is good.
Those links will be in the chat for RSVPing.
Sweetness. Let's get on with the show. Rajiv is the founder and CEO of R Square Media, an award-winning minority certified online visibility and reputation management firm that helps clients be seen or not be seen online. Wow, that's powerful. R Square Media was awarded the prestigious Minority Business of the Year award in 2017 in the company of Con Edison and MTA at a gala event in Manhattan. R Square Media won the award in recognition of all the efforts to bring innovation in internet marketing to small and minority-owned businesses.
Rajiv, was invited to speak at the United Nations on the role of coaching and technology to solve homelessness, which resulted in the country of Malawi. See, I don't know that word. Requesting his assistance to help them solve child homelessness. Following this ask, Rajiv set up his nonprofit Bright Now to empower youth and young leaders through coaching and technology. Welcome, Rajiv, to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for getting my name right.
I really worked at it.
I know. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us, Rajiv. So the burning question that we're all here for is I think we should bury this and put it at the end, but we're going to lead with it and go, what is the way that we can bad press and bad reviews really be deleted from Google?
Yes, it's very simple. You just need to call R Square Media. We'll take care of it for you.
All right, next question.
No, really, can you really, like, what does it take to get rid of the bad review? Like, how, I mean, don't tell us all your secrets, but tell us a little bit of secrets. Like, I'm curious, like, is there like do you have to contact Google? Is there a big process? Is there like do you have to wait a long time?
Well, there are delays due to COVID. And this is what I'm telling all clients that are asking about why they're seeing outcomes happen on a slightly delayed schedule, because the people that we're working with at Google, either they fall sick due to COVID, or somebody of maybe their significant other falls sick, their relative, family members fall sick, or worse. And due to that, there are delays that happen. And because of those delays, you've got to follow up with people all over again, start the process, etc. So that's one constraint. The second constraint is that, and Tracy, I'm sure you know this, is that the Google algorithm changes every 3 months. There are minor tweaks that happen. And then, of course, the major updates to the policy or the algorithm get published, I think, every quarter or 6 months or something like that. So the challenge is that the request that we're making to Google to get the review taken down for a variety of criteria then needs to get reassessed against the new algorithm criteria, which changes every 3 months. So as you can notice, because of the delays with COVID and the algorithm getting updated every 3 months, sometimes it means restarting the process and then following up and restarting it and following up, et cetera, et cetera. So these are some of the reasons or causes as to why the process might get extended longer than it usually does. Usually the process, when we work on it, the process could take anywhere from 40 to 90 days for the outcome to be realized. And these timelines, unfortunately, have been extended a bit due to the COVID-related delays. But to answer your question, Tracy and John, the way that we're doing this is by contacting Google and by making a case for the review to be taken down. So this is a very interesting data point that 50%, yes, 50% of reviews that you see online are false, in the sense that it is a case of mistaken identity. What do I mean by that? The customer, the person is in an emotional state for whatever reason, and they quickly go to Google and look for a business, and then they post a review without first checking if the business that they're reviewing is the same business that caused them to be in that emotional state. So 50% of the reviews are a case of mistaken identity. So that's like one straight off the block. So one of the ways to get a review off Google is by saying, hello, this person isn't even our customer. We've never called them, we've never spoken to them, we've never serviced them. He or she is not our customer. And that's one of the ways to get rid of the review pretty fast. Another way is if they're sharing personal PII, that's personally identifiable information, in their review. That violates Google's terms of service, and that's a way to get the review off. Other reasons could include if they're using inflammatory language or what could be considered hate speech. That also is the basis of getting a review knocked off. And then another interesting data point is that 25% of all the reviews that you see, the negative reviews that is, are posted by unscrupulous competitors. And that also is a very unfortunate event. This actually happened to a client. So there was a client from Canada that contacted me there. I don't recall if they are a auto shop or if they were some kind of trucking logistics company. I'm not sure. It was one or the other, but their competitor flooded them with 20 or 30 one-star reviews, which caused their 5-star rating to go to a 1-star rating. Mm-hmm. And they did that. And they did it in a certain way such that the 1-star review would stick. And it did stick. And that would end up costing the business dearly because, as you know, Tracy, we live in a review economy. Everything is guided by reviews. Where we eat, what we watch, what we buy, everything is guided by reviews. And if you have an unfavorable review, an unfriendly review, or an outright bad review, scathing review, then there's a very high likelihood that people who are thinking of reaching out to you, doing business with you, working with you, won't, because they don't want to take the chance of having a bad experience. And they don't want to lose the emotional investment or the time investment in going through with the process and then realizing it was all for naught or was a bad experience. So that's, I hope I answered your question as directly, candidly, bluntly as I could.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was great. So you've probably seen a lot of interesting things in your line of work. What are some of the strangest, most interesting cases you've worked on?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's been, so this is a true story. This is something that we actually featured in a commercial that we released recently. You can find that commercial on our YouTube channel. It's the trailer. It's listed as the trailer on the channel. So this is what actually happened. There was a client who was in the job market. She was in the job market maybe 6-9 months. Finally got an offer from her dream company for her dream role, and it was her dream offer. It was a high 6-figure offer. And then that offer was retracted. And she was shocked. She was flummoxed by saying, oh my God, why? The reason was the company, and this is what she learned from her executive recruiter. Obviously, the company doesn't talk to the candidate directly. And what the executive recruiter shared was that the company thinks you're a criminal. She was like, what? Me? Criminal? What are you talking about? She Googled herself, and lo and behold, she saw that in her Google search was, at the top of her Google search, was someone that looked like her, had the same first name, and that person has a criminal record. And the company figured that this is her because they look very alike, and based on that, retracted the job offer. So then she immediately contacted us via her executive recruiter who knew about us and said, hey, help, can you help me? And I said, yes, we can. We gave her an estimate of 60 to 90 days, but were, to our surprise, able to deliver the outcome in 20 days, which was a lot faster than even we could have forecasted. And we got that link deleted. The executive recruiter was able to reverse the company's decision by explaining that, first of all, it was a case of mistaken identity. And secondly, if you Google her, you're not going to see that. So there's no basis of you not making her the offer again. And they agreed, and she was hired. So that's one of the strangest cases, in the sense that, you know, they say that truth is stranger than fiction, right? So one would think that this link from People Finder, Truth Finder, Redaris, one of those sites that publishes your private information, like your demographic information, your age, your address, how many times you've been married, et cetera, et cetera. So one would think that something like that would not really do too much damage, but as you could see, it did tremendous damage, to the extent of potentially losing this the client, you know, hundreds and thousands of dollars, because it was a high 6-figure offer that she was about to lose.
I know there's another Tracy Champagne out there who was writing bad checks like 20 years ago, and I would go to stores and I wouldn't be allowed to write a check because of her, because they research it and they say, well, your name's Tracy Champagne, so we're not going to let you write a check here.
Oh my God.
Oh
So
my.
I can see how that can mess with people.
Yeah. So in talking to you, you seem to have some really cool names that are kind of catchy for all of your services. How did you come up with that, and how do you use that for branding?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question, John. The reason for that is you could call it what you want to call it, and people might say, meh, blah, whatever. But if you have an interesting name that associates with it, on the one hand, it's a little memorable. Secondly, it's easy to understand. So the important thing with branding is you want it to be easy to understand, easy to recall when you think of something. And sometimes it helps if that name is a little out there. It's a little, let's say, explicit, if I can use that word. And that was the thinking or the rationale that led to coming up with those kind of, let's say, charged names, if you will. And just to answer the, should I say the names of the services? Or
yes.
Okay. So the deletion service, which is where we delete bad press, delete bad reviews, delete private information, that service is called Bazooka. The reason, again, well, hey, when you, not that I've ever held a bazooka in my life, disclaimer, but typically when you pick up a bazooka, aim it at the target and press fire, it decimates the target. And well, that's what we do. We destroy the link, essentially delete the link. So hence Bazooka. We have sometimes, because of a Google terms of service, a link cannot be deleted, but we can push it down. So instead of saying the pushing down service, the name of that service is called relocation. So we relocate the link from page 1 to page 5 when no one goes. So that's the second service. The third service is called force field. Why force field? Because, well, a force field protects you from oncoming attack. Force field prevents future crisis from negatively impacting you, your brand, your organization, etc. So we're able to preempt future threats, and then when that threat happens, it won't land on page 1. It'll land on maybe page 3 or page 4 if done correctly. And then lastly, our newest service is called Halo. Why Halo? Halo is our thought leadership service that helps clients be seen as thought leaders so that customers chase you for a change. So we're trying to change the paradigm, and that's why we're using those names. We're using metaphor as the vehicle to convey an idea. Hopefully that the idea either builds intrigue in the hearts and minds of people, but also helps them visualize what that is.
Yeah, that's good. I like Halo because I love the show. So you can have Cortana help with the Halo one.
Isn't there a video game called Halo too?
Well, it's a show about the video game.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's how much I know about that stuff.
It's dope. So thank you so much for joining us, Rajiv. Oh my gosh, I said it wrong.
Oh, see, it wasn't me.
It's got a Z on it on there. It's Rajiv. There we go.
Thank you.
I typed it wrong on the monitor. So Rajiv, do you have an offer that you'd like to share with our audience today?
Yes. Since I love you guys, I love your mission. I love what you're doing for the world, making the world a more connected place. See what I did there, Tracy? So for your listeners and the friends of the show, I'd like to offer a complimentary consultation to give you a holistic review and analysis of your digital presence and or a review and analysis of your LinkedIn profile to help you optimize it so that you stand out way ahead of everyone else, but more importantly, have it really work for you. And I'd like to, what Kim said earlier is absolutely true. So it's very important that you ask for recommendations on LinkedIn. I just checked mine. I have 53 recommendations on LinkedIn. So that's only because I asked people and persisted a little bit because, it takes a little bit of follow-up and you need to kind of focus people a little bit. But when you do so, when people are looking at you, the amount of reviews makes you seem extremely credible, but more importantly, more credible than potentially your competitors or even other candidates if this is a job search situation. And we're basically looking to think about how can I mitigate against any doubts against me or my business or my service? How can I stack up that trust and confidence in what I do so that when they actually meet you, they're in a way pre-sold and they have an affinity to saying, wow, I've looked you up online. You seem like the real deal. Okay, let's do this. And I'm meeting you as well. And I'm getting good vibes. So, okay, let's do this. So that's the basis and the value of having reviews, 5-star reviews in a Google or Amazon perspective, as well as high number of recommendations on LinkedIn, which are truly valuable.
Thank you so much.
Can I just say one thing about that? All those reviews on there, like when you go to LinkedIn and you see like 53 recommendations, two things cross my mind for that. It's like, well, either this person is like really, really great and really connected, or they've really done the work to go get the reviews. So either way you look at it, it's like a good thing.
Yeah,
that is so true.
No. That was
So
it.
yeah, thank you so much, Rajiv. We appreciate all of this. I'm going to take you up on your offer. I cannot wait to get a review of my reviews and see how I'm doing. I know I have plenty of upside on that. So thank you so much. We're going to do a really short 1-minute marketing moment to bring on our next guest with Kim. And then we'll be right back with Matt, our next guest.
Kim unfortunately had to restart her computer, so I cannot work on spotlighting. So if John wants to, in this quick transition, try to make me a co-host again. Otherwise, the joys of live TV, Rajiv is just gonna hang out there for a minute, unless Tracy can remove the spotlight.
Oh, I think I can. Oh, I didn't do that.
Well, Hey, here I am.
Must be John doing it.
John just can do so many things, you guys. So today, I talked about networking. I talk about networking all the time, but people don't look at networking as part of marketing. And it 100% is part of marketing. It is marketing. If you're not networking, how are you spreading the word of your business? And networking does not have to mean sitting in a Zoom meeting or sitting in a luncheon. Some of the great things about networking is word of mouth is another great thing. Reviews are another great thing. I look at reviews as networking. Maybe I'm a little biased, but the benefits of networking is you're strengthening business connections. So you're able to share with others, you form trust, and you help each other reach their goals. So we talked about reviews. You may not have specifically had Rajiv's service, but you really like what he has to say. A friend that he's done a great thing for. It's still totally appropriate for you to go give him a review saying, he helped my friend out, and be honest, and I just can't believe the outcome of what he had to do. Or, Tracy built this absolutely beautiful website for my friend who owns X restaurant. And I just love this website. It's so easy to use. It's beautiful. So, Tracy, you network with Tracy. You maybe didn't get a website built by Tracy, but you've seen her work. So completely, totally appropriate. And you're helping them reach their goals. You have regular engagement with others. And then, everyone kind of reciprocates because they feel like, oh, well, so-and-so did this for me, so I want to give back to them. And it is just an ever evolving circle of marketing. You can get regular career advice and support for free because we're all here to help each other, especially like in those mastermind events, like I talked about. And you build long-lasting relationships with mentors and like-minded people. I could tell you, since the pandemic happened, I have never met such an amazing group of people around the entire state. I would have never met Van. Van's in Madison. He's 2 hours away. I probably wouldn't have met him, but because of the show and networking, I've met him and it helps to market. He has great things to say about us. And we only just met for the first time a couple of weeks ago. It's great. And you could get potential referrals because you're building relationships with people. You're marketing your business that way. And referrals are a great way to get more business. So join networking events, somehow work on that as a way to market your business. And that's our marketing moment for today.
That was beautiful.
Yay!
Thanks, Kim.
Welcome.
Thank you,
We're
thank you,
gonna
thank you.
replace We're going to add Tracy, and I'm out of your hair.
Tracy, what's going on next?
Matt's coming on next. So we're talking about all these Google reviews. This is all this stuff on the internet. But if your computer's not working and you need to go buy a new one, then we need people like Matt. So without Matt, we won't even be talking about this Google stuff. Matt is the owner of Electrocycle, has to do with his motorcycles, I think. LLC. I just put that two and two together with that previous conversation. Anyways, helps IT professionals manage their equipment life cycle and keep IT equipment out of the landfill.
And they call it IT asset disposition, ITAD. That's a lot to get out. So life cycle management are true passions in the business world. Those are his two passions. He helps clients reclaim their space, manage their IT equipment life cycles, and responsibly dispose of this equipment, because I think we're going to learn what's inside that equipment and why it's so important to not throw it in the garbage can and get someone like Matt to help you. And with that, Matt, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Kind of fun, right?
Yeah,
I know. It's hurry up and wait, and then you get here.
Right.
Boom. All right.
Thanks, Matt, for coming. So I want to ask you the question of the day also. How do you handle your Google reviews? And are you asking for them? Are you thinking about them at all? What's your approach?
Yeah, I don't generally ask for them. I do drive a lot of business through Google. And I really probably should start asking for them. But I haven't historically, no.
Yeah, it's really hard to get into the habit of doing it. I know I've done it. It'll happen for about a week or two, and then it falls off the face of the earth for like another year. And then all of a sudden, I got to start doing that again. And then I'll do it again for a week or two, and then it goes away, which is why partly we created this event. So we are all a little bit more consistent in our ask.
So we can just use the Google Calendar to remind us to put to get Google reviews.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's a good tip. Good tip.
There we go.
So how did you get started in this field, Matt?
So I've been in IT my entire career. I started in IT as a teenager. My mom drove me to my first IT job, which is as cool as it sounds. But every company that I've ever worked for has sort of had the same problem, right? The IT life cycle is there's a lot of due diligence on the front end where you're buying your equipment, you're figuring out what you need, how much you're going to pay for it, how are you going to install it and get it running, and migrate data and everything else that needs to happen. And of course, while you run the equipment, there's a lot of due diligence and things there of keeping it running and keeping it secure and performant and things like that. But people tend to, and naturally, I think, tend to just sort of unplug the stuff when it's done and stash it in a corner in an office or in a server room or in their basement or something like that. In every company that I've worked for, and I've worked in education and energy and healthcare and manufacturing, they all have the same problem. They all just take their old equipment, whether it's server equipment or laptops and desktops, things like that. They find an empty room or their server room or whatever, and they just stash it in there. And then eventually someone high enough in the company gets mad enough about the room being full of stuff, and they come along and they say, get rid of this. And then it's on that IT person who's admittedly, right, not usually an expert in IT asset disposition, to figure out what to do with that, and how to do it in a way that they don't need to go ask their CFO for more money. So that I really, as an IT person, I was that person doing that, and I was that person with that struggle. And I kind of thought to myself, there has to, the old infomercial saying, right? There has to be a better way. And I wound up sort of creating that better way, I think.
Mitch said something earlier. He said that the service was free. Is that true?
Yeah, it is. So one of the biggest struggles, again, as an IT person that I had, was it's very tough to go ask your CFO and say, hey, can I have however many thousands of dollars, right, to buy this equipment, whether it's a bunch of laptops or servers again. And then you use them for a while and they're done. And then to go back to your CFO and say, hey, again, I need another however many thousands of dollars to essentially take out the trash, right? So it's at that point that equipment is reached the end of its useful life. It's been depreciated, things like that. So that's a hard ask because a lot of IT departments are cost centers. There are some that generate revenue, but the average IT department really doesn't. And so that's a tough ask for them. So one of the big things when I started this business was to keep it as cheap as I possibly could for my clients. So that means no pickup charges. No recycling fees as far as 95% of IT equipment is concerned. There are a couple things that I do have to charge for, right? But the average thing that's going to be coming out of an IT department will be free.
That is so I think people might be wondering where are you picking up from? What locations do you pick up from?
All sorts of businesses, really. I operate in kind of all the verticals. I have healthcare clients, manufacturing clients, education, everything. So I do pick up from clients' locations usually because that's where their stuff is stashed and they don't really want to move it around and take a chunk of an IT person's day to unload that office or server room or whatever it is. So I go to locations. I will unload the equipment for them. We document it all and make sure that the data is handled in a way that the client wants. And really, I kind of handle it all for them again, because they're busy with their IT work.
So will you go anywhere in Wisconsin, or do you just have like certain areas that you go to?
Most of my business is in southeastern Wisconsin, but I have, gotten out of that sort of bubble of southeastern Wisconsin. And yeah, I think if somebody calls me up and needs my assistance, then I'm happy to work with them on, wherever they're located.
Good to know, guys. Good to know.
So a question would be, you're picking up computers. Find anything weird? Any Bitcoins? I don't know how that works. Are they just Bitcoins laying around inside there rattling?
Part of my job is to keep the client's data secure, right? So I can't really take a laptop from someone and then fire it up and be like, oh, what's on this hard drive, right? So what I tend to see are the physical results of something weird happening. So, people have employees in all over the place. People are, out in public doing their job and things like that. So you do get machines sometimes that it's like, what happened to this? Because I've had a couple that are like caked in salt. Like this has clearly been in the ocean. Like, how does that happen? Like a laptop or something. How does your laptop wind up in the ocean, especially your work laptop, right? So. But as far as interesting things on them, yeah, I don't see any of the data. So
okay, all right. Well, that's good to know because everyone wants their privacy, and I think that's really good that you keep that secure. I am looking for the Bitcoins though.
I know, and unfortunately for me, I'd have to find $100 bill stuffed into it or something. That'd be the only equivalent that I could have.
Yeah, I think I don't know what they look like, so I find them. I'm like, oh, Bitcoin, no, it's quarter. So yeah, I gotta still work on that.
So Matt, how do you keep IT equipment out of the landfill then?
So there's a bunch of different ways, really. Almost everything in a modern computer is recyclable in some way, shape, or form. I would say probably, I don't know the number completely offhand, but I would say probably 95% of what comes out of an IT department is completely functional. it's really just being gotten rid of because it's at the end of its life cycle. They no longer need it. It's been upgraded, something like that. So what I really do is try to connect the equipment with somebody who wants to use that, whether that's an individual, if it's a business, if it's a nonprofit, a school, something like that. That's my first option always, is to try to figure out, like, okay, who wants this to actually use this machine for its purpose? If I can't do that, or if, you know, in the example of the saltwater laptop, right, they can be recycled in a bunch of different ways. So I work with a lot of different companies that will take the plastic, the metals, the motherboards and things like that, can be shredded and broken down for their component materials and then recycled like that. So that's grossly oversimplifying it, but in reality, the component pieces are all, for the most part, recyclable these days. Modern laptops, they used to have things like mercury in the display lamps and things like that are, and those machines are still out there, but they're thankfully becoming less and less common these days. So it actually it is a little bit easier to find folks who are willing to recycle those and make sure that the core components are reused as best they can and things like that. So it's really a sort of an array of sort of vendors that I work with that take the component pieces and make sure that they get reused as well.
Has anybody made a 100% recycled computer, like out of like shredding the motherboard into its raw components and then recycling it, kind of like, you know, plastic bottles and stuff?
As far as I'm aware, companies have done that as far as like the case and things like that. They can be easily, you know, formed in plastic and things like that. But I don't know about the motherboard and component pieces and things like that. I'm not sure.
$1 million idea or
Yeah,
$5
you know.
idea? I think a $5 idea, but we'll work on that.
Yeah,
We'll
depends-
workshop it.
Depends
It'll
on
be
how
great.
you market it.
Yep.
So I have two more questions. If somebody wants to drop stuff off by you, is that an option also, or do you just pick up?
They can. I'm located in Port Washington. It's out of the way for some people and it's close for other people. So yes, if people want to drop things off, that's totally fine. My website, electrocycle.biz, has all my contact information on it. If anyone wants to reach out and schedule a drop off, that works as well.
And my other question is do you just take laptops? Do you take phones? Like, what kind of electrical things do you take?
So that's the keyword, electrical, right? I really do take and focus on IT equipment. So that would be the whole spectrum of IT equipment, including phones, including laptops, desktops, tablets, servers. I do not do things like microwaves and appliances and stuff like that. I'm sorry? Printers? I do take printers as well. Yeah. So, but I do keep it to IT equipment really because that's my specialty and I know how to deal with that the best. Of course, microwaves and refrigerators need to be recycled too, but not exactly my specialty.
Not your jam.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We're going to talk after the show because I am always looking for 7700s because they work really well for Zoom.
Okay.
The i7700. So we'll make a list, and if
All right.
you run across them, that'll be great.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate what you do. You're helping the world be a better place. That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Matt, for coming on. It was great.
Thank you.
So once again, thank you all for joining us. We really appreciate you spending this time for us. It's such an honor to, I know your time is valuable and that you can all spend it with us. We can all spend it together. It's fantastic. On Friday, we're going to have a mastermind and we are talking about automation. We did Zaps 1 week and we did a little bit of brainstorming last week and we got some really great ideas. This week, you're just going to have to show up because it's going to be a surprise what we're going to talk about. But you can get a little bit of a preview Tuesday and Thursday with Kim and Tracy at the Small Biz events.
Monday and Thursday.
Monday and Thursday.
Monday and
Yes. There you go. Okay.
And thanks for
So,
Matt's LinkedIn is on his page on the Connect Show, which Kim just posted, so you can find him there. Next week we have Bill Hand and Roger Heindel, and they're talking more IT stuff with us. And I believe we are all in studio for that one. So that will
it's gonna be pretty sweet. It's gonna be the Mr. Robot show.
And
Mr.
so I'm gonna
Robot
get-
Show, huh?
I'm gonna get my hat, maybe get some music going.
John's job is to title all of the shows based on who we have coming. So it's always interesting to see what the topic, the title of the show.
Yeah,
is
I
gonna
might have
be.
to really like Mr. Robot was one of the best TV shows ever made, so I might have to really bust that out for next week. It's gonna be cool.
And
What's
we
the
wanna
guy's
s-
name? Malik. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do my best
Ooh.
Malik next
Yeah.
week. Yeah, all
There
right.
you go. And thanks to Expansive for supporting us and helping us succeed on the Connect Show. And all of our volunteers that are helping us. And like we said before, if you're interested in helping us with the show, please contact us at info@theconnectshow.com.
And that's what we got. Time for salad.
Time
Have a
for
great day,
salad.
everyone.
Bye, guys. Okay, gotta stop recording and streaming.
I stopped the recording. I can't stop the stream.